What's new in these exciting these days? You got some shows coming up. I know that you're staying busy. What can you tell us about yourself that maybe people don't know? How long you been wrestling? How long were you bodybuilding? What you got coming up? What you doing?
I started wrestling in 2000. I trained originally under Rockin Randy, which is everybody in Chicago knows Rockin Randy. It was our first training camp was in Lake Barrington. We shared it with Ace Steel and Danny Dominion. Like we had different days. So I'm sure Punk and Cabana were there on like their days, and then Randy had his days and stuff. I came out of the same class as like Brandon Blaze. God, that might be it. That's the only one that's left of us. Casey James, that was with WWE. He was in, I think, the class right after me. But he was only with us maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and then he went to Tennessee and kind of carved out a name before going to OVW, signing with WWE. Had a short run with the Teacher's Pets with Michelle McCool and Aaron Stevens. Aaron Stevens is a tag team. Besides that, I've left Randy in like, end of 03, 04. I branched out with doing some like Tennessee bookings, and I got back into the Chicago area, and just been doing it ever since.
Have you really ever ventured living out of the Chicago area, or just working outside the Chicago area?
You mean for as far as like wrestling wise?
Yeah, were you living outside of the Chicago area and working?
No, I'm a border town, and actually that's a good segue into this next thing. So I was never really accepted by the Wisconsin indie scene because everyone hated Rockin Randy. Everyone. Like at the time, it was really just Carmine DeSpirito running Mid-American. Frank DeFalco hadn't started Brew City yet. He was actually working for Carmine. And then, I was considered a Chicago guy. No one would book me in the Wisconsin area because I was a Rockin Randy trainee. And then I went, even when I got out on my own, I did stuff here and there for little promotions in Wisconsin, but I was always considered a Chicago guy. I mean, to date right now, 38 states, Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico I've wrestled in. I've been running my own promotion, SSW, along with my partner RJ on that for probably 16 or 17. They were in business for 3 years before me, but then I think I've had the booking ability there for like 16 or 17 years.
Whereabouts do you run that? Is it just one area in particular, or are you all over?
Just Kenosha. Mikey's actually a big part of that. I think I booked you now last couple of shows, and I mean you're one of the first guys I called when I was going to book this one on October 8th. We got a big show coming up at the Brat Stop, which is just a few minutes from Mikey's house. Once again, being a border town, it's only like I would say 45 seconds from the interstate, I-94.
Yeah, it's perfect.
We got Max Caster from AEW coming in. We got the first Wisconsin indie appearance of WWE legend Tugboat and Typhoon and the Shockmaster. So,
nice. I'm so excited for that.
Mikey, it's crazy. So Max was a huge pickup for us. No one's spending the money to bring in that guy right now. He's quite the burden for, you could say, financially, but great guy. He draws a ton of people from that AEW crowd. Our fans are more conditioned for the legends. I mean, we've had Bushwhacker Luke, we've had Gangrel, we've had Al Snow, we've had Glacier, which was no one had ever thought of getting Glacier in this area. Who else have we had? Tito Santana,
I think that's one of the things you do so well when it comes to business and marketing. What strategy, has that always been a strategy of yours, is bringing in the legends and then bringing in a newer as well to kind of draw all ends of the spectrum to the show?
Here's the problem that I've always run into. We used to be a monthly and every other month wrestling promotion. Obviously, right. You know that, Mikey. The problem is you would draw, or I would draw 200 to 250 people every month. No problem. I outdrew everybody in this little area out here, and I would do it consistently. The problem is I don't have a wrestling school like Bruce City or a Jimmy Blaze. So I don't have the ability to book 6 guys or 3 matches for free.
Right.
I've never had that ability. In the 16, 17 years that SSW has been around, no one, and I tell you, no one, I challenge anybody on your podcast, the millions of listeners listening right now, I challenge anybody to find me someone who was never paid by SSW. We pay all our guys. I may be a cheap bastard, but I pay everybody. But the thing about it is like when you start putting people like Vic Capri, Marche Rocket, Rough Crossing, Mikey Wild, Yabo the Clown, you start booking guys that are like older, like indie name guys, they're going to cost you a lot of money and your budget goes up real quick. So in 2019, I decided, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run 1 or 2 shows a year. We're going to bring in 1 legend, and we're going to bring in like 1 guy that can actually work a match. So a special appearance and then a match. And we're going to see what happens. We drew 600 plus people that night. We had Gangrel, Hornswoggle, and Al Snow. And then we had the next show that we did 580 people. And we had Bushwhacker Luke, Kevin Thorne, and Gangrel. Then the next one we did, I think we had Glacier, Tito, Mr. Kennedy, and Hornswoggle again, over 600. This last one, we had the Faces of Fear. So, I mean, the formula of making it an attraction that you can't miss, that's probably been our best thing. I would rather draw 580 to 600 people once or twice a year than draw 200 and not even break even every month.
No question. And in addition to those rising costs of the talent per show, you're having to spend the money to advertise per show and that many shows, and trying to make things different and interesting. It's an uphill battle, certainly. At this stage, do you get more invested and interested in the aspect of running the show, storylines, things like that, or do you still get just as much of a thrill as being in the ring?
I mean, the booking thing is not really, I mean, I just do that. Storylines, we try to create in-show storylines. Mm-hmm. Everything's a spot show. So you see these indie promotions that run these storylines week after week, and that's fine. If you have the same building every month, the same 180 fans come, you may vary 240, 270 on a good night, but the same 180 will always be there. You could do some storylines. Our stuff is all storyline based within the show. It's spot show booking. I'm going to toot my own horn here, but I learned to book under Burt Prentice from USA Championship Wrestling. Burt held positions with every single major federation, including Impact, WWE, WCW. So much talent went through Burt at USA Championship Wrestling, and we lost him to cancer, and it was I miss him all the time. We always stayed. He would send Christmas cards to my parents' house because that's the only address he had. And they were always like these glitter-filled, like Mickey Mouse Christmas ones. And my mom really looked forward to seeing those like every year, you know. As you know, Mikey, with Mama Wild and Mama Kross, like they're our biggest fans. So it's kind of fun when they placate to that. But yeah, I learned to book those spot shows. I learned so much. And he was carny, man. He was carny to, I mean, they probably paid for his funeral selling mystery bags. But like, I'll tell you a quick story. So he would do these mystery bags. They were just a black bag, and you get 5 autographs, and you could get a chance for like a Hall of Famer in them or whatever. You know, they were like the blind bags you'd get at Walmart to see which unicorn you get or whatever. So he would sell these useless 8x10s to guys like me for like $15, $20, and you get 5 of them. I swear there was never a Hall of Fame guy in there. If there was, it was Lawler, because he probably had to stack them at home. Right. And he probably knew the person. Like, I remember he would fold corners and stuff and go, "Hey, pick that one." You know, like he would tell certain people. So, but he would sell useless 8x10s for $25. You know, like
it's incredible,
man. So I did that with the surplus of 8x10s I had at like a few shows ago. I had like, you could either get like Kevin Thorne, you could get Gangrel, you could Bushwhacker Luke, Elson, whoever it was. And I couldn't sell those for $10 an autograph. I put two of them in a blind bag to sell for $15, or two for 25. I don't have any 8x10s left. So
that you learn from the best then in that department.
Yeah.
So circling back, because I digress so bad, I still like being in the ring. To be honest with you, it's fun to work other places because I don't have that stress. So